What's up, guys? Flippin' Steve back with another video, and today's video is going to be my Philly show recap. Yes, I went to the Philly show last Saturday while Dallas was going on for just one day, and so I'm going to recap the show, pickups from the show, and also some recent card purchases that I've made that have arrived in the mail, as opposed to just putting out a regular mail day. Slap it all together in one video, get it all over with for you guys to see. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and just dive right into the Philly show. So Saturday morning, drove up to the Philly show. Actually rode with one of my friends. Philly's less than 2 hours away from me, maybe an hour and a half. We left at like 9 a.m. Got there 10:30 to 11-ish. All right, guys, we've arrived at Philly. About 10 minutes to 11, going to go into the show. You see the casino behind me, Valley Forge Convention Center. It's actually just a little bit outside of Philly, as in King of Prussia. Parking lot is packed. Had a hard time finding a place to park. Going to go in, see if we can find some. I'm looking for Hall of Fame autos with the $200 to $500 range. Brought $5K cash with me. That's all. Just a couple cards to trade or sell. Didn't bring my Pelican case. Going to try to enjoy this show a little bit more from walking around and just looking. My aunt's here, so I'm gonna meet up with my aunt and my uncle maybe for some lunch, and yeah, just gonna make a day out of it. I'll show you guys any pickups that I might make. Maybe I run into some more familiar faces from the community, and if I do, maybe we get them on camera as well. First part of the agenda is to go in. I have like 3 or 4 slabs that I'd like to move and liquidate, and maybe get like $1,000 in cash, just to get some cash on top of what I brought. Have a little bit more to play with. Yeah, and just see what happens, guys, and keep you guys updated, and we'll tag a video on to the end of this, because this isn't going to be much of a vlog. All right, guys, take it easy. See you guys later. Parking lot was absolutely packed. Couldn't hardly find anywhere to park. Rode around and around. Finally found a place to park. Someone was leaving. Made our way into the show, and needless to say, the show was absolutely packed as well. Now, I will say the show was $10 entrance fee for one day. I don't know what the cost was for the weekend. Normally it's a little bit cheaper, I guess, if you get it for multiple days. But again, I was only going to be there on Saturday. But like I said, I go into the Philly show and I regularly go there. So I kind of know where most vendors are going to be set up. A lot of times the vendors move through their inventory. So there is, it's not always the same vendors with the same inventory. A lot of times it's the same vendors, but they have different cards, which is good. I had a couple lower end slabs that I wanted to move. I knew that there's a vendor that liked that type of stuff. I ran that to them first of all. I just made a beeline for that table, moved off those items for like $150 just to get them out of my my bag and get $150 back into my wallet. Now I believe I took $3,000 in cash to the show, I believe, but didn't nearly spend that much. In fact, one of the big talking points about this show was how crowded it was and how hard it was to actually get up to the showcases and buy, deal, even look. So the show was so packed, I stayed for a total of 3 hours, and I had had enough. It was hot, it was packed. One bad thing about the Philly show is that it's very, very hard to get any kind of cellular service. All right, guys, Flippin' Steve still here in the Philly show. I've made a quick deal already for a Larry Bird auto, game used, with a little game used fabric on it, which I'll show. Little picture right here, and I'll also recap it at the end. Had to come outside because if anybody's ever been to a Philly show, the biggest downfall is the internet is garbage. You can't get any service. And there's a couple cards that I want to buy, and I don't even care about the comps. I just don't know what the cards are, and I want to research the cards a little bit because they're cards I'm not familiar with, but they're neat oddball items that I want. Normally I would just buy that stuff, but the stuff's a little bit pricey, like in the $400 to $500 range. So with doing zero research, and this is key, don't just buy blindly. So I don't want to do that, but I can't research. I can't even get internet outside for some reason. Usually it's just because the venue is on the bottom floor, almost like a basement, and it's packed in there right now too. I ran into Mike O and talked to him for a little while, which was cool. Always like to run into him up here in the Philly area. And we both talked about how crowded it was, how we can't get any service. And even when I come outside, it says I have 5G, but I'm not able to do anything. But hey, just have to make lemonade out of lemons, like they say, and do my best. There's a guy in there with a lot of nice Larry Bird stuff. There's a nice Marvel PMG in there. Don't know if I'll pick that up. It's a little bit pricey. If I can work on the seller a little bit, maybe I'll pick that up. And I also had an interest in my Scarlet Witch PMG as well. Not a whole lot of Marvel, but actually very little Marvel. Lots of vintage, typically like a Philly show. No internet, typically like a Philly show. Crowded, typically like a Philly Saturday. But I'm going to go back in here, at least try to get something else done. I've already accomplished picking up a Larry Bird and a Drew Brees card, which you guys will see. No, haven't spent really heavy, and I haven't sold anything yet. I got to go in there and try to move these 3 lower end slabs that I brought with me just to get them out of my bag and make it less bulky. And get in there and see if I can get that done. The tables are just packed, and it's really hard to even get up to the showcases on some. I think they need to spread this out. If this show keeps growing, or if the hobby keeps growing and this show keeps getting packed. I mean, look at this parking lot behind me if you can. Then maybe they just need to get a bigger spot for this. I'm not really sure. But definitely Philly. Valley Forge, Convention Center, whatever you want to call it here in King of Prussia. Work on your internet. We need to be able to look up the cards that we want to buy. All right, guys. See you when I see you. So as far as using internet for comps, for research, or whatever you need to use it for, it's not accessible. I was hoping to meet my aunt and uncle there. Was not able to locate them because the show was so packed, and was not able to contact them because I couldn't get cell service. So I never found them. Also, as well, I was going to meet with Ryan from Breakout Cards there. I couldn't contact him or find him as well. However, luckily at the very end of the show, I did run into him in the lobby as we were both leaving at about the same time. And he did hook me up with a copy of his book, Spotting Fakes. Right here. And right here we got Steve Lazar and Ryan. They signed it for me, cool, which was awesome. And Ryan Nolan, Steve Lazar, and hooked me up with a book, which was awesome. Very cool thing for Ryan to do. He didn't have to do that, but I really appreciate it. And we chatted for a while like we normally do when we run into each other. Also ran into Mike O. It's always a joy to run into Mike O. Mike O is a true hobbyist. He's the first person I ever used to submit cards through. Back before I even did YouTube or anything, I was doing group submissions with Mike O, who also has a YouTube channel, so check him out. And a true hobbyist and true, like Phillies fan. So it's always cool running to him at the Philly show. But he had a lot of the same feelings as I did, where he was a little let down by the crowd and not necessarily the crowd, but how difficult it was to maneuver through the show and, accomplish anything. The one positive about that is that lots of people out at the show is great for the hobby. It just means that a lot of people are out, a lot of people are active, buying, selling, and trading is being done. And what surprised me is with the Dallas show going on, I thought that this would kind of ease up some of the crowd at the Philadelphia show. However, much to my surprise, it was just super packed. And I had heard the same reports coming out of the Dallas show because I was in contact most of the day with Kenny and talking to him because we were talking deals over the phone. I think a majority of my ride home was me on the phone with Kenny brokering a deal through him going on in Dallas. So just a lot of stuff going on that weekend, 2 shows, and lots of people out and about getting into it, doing whatever they do. Now, I will say the Philly show, needless to say, was vintage strong. Always really good vintage at Philly, whether it's vintage that you're used to seeing, like Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, lots of the Topps stuff, or oddball type vintage. They have a lot of that stuff there as well. You can always find good vintage at the Philly show. Modern was also out and pretty popular. It was a pretty diverse show, let's put it that way. When it came to oddball type stuff, I saw a few Marvel cards out there. Marvel again was very buzzy like it was in Atlanta. However, there wasn't nearly as much Marvel cards for sale. But probably about every vendor that I asked if they had Marvel cards, I would say, do you have Marvel cards? probably at least 70% of the vendors that I asked responded with, no, I do not have Marvel cards, but I'm interested in getting Marvel cards. So that was kind of buzzy. Just, just the interest doesn't mean that they were trading hands a lot. Another thing that was really popular at the Philly show that I haven't seen anywhere else was like wrestling cards. And I don't mean the wrestling that everybody loves and is popular, like the 82 Wrestling All-Stars, the Hulk Hogan rookie, the Ric Flair rookie. But like modern wrestling, like Topps Chrome refractors and things like that. Now, I don't have any of that stuff. I don't know the values of any of that stuff. I used to be a wrestling fan. I haven't followed it that much recently. But I saw multiple people moving around multiple tables selling what I'm going to say lower end wrestling cards, even though they were like parallels and refractors and things like that. They were like going in the selling and buying and trading in the $20 to $40 ballpark, I'm going to say. Nothing really, really high end, big end autographs or anything like that. And I don't know much about the wrestling market, so I don't know what's valuable and what isn't. And I don't know if these are being bought and traded in order to be graded now that, the grading companies are becoming reasonable. With all that being said, it was a pretty good diverse show. Not a whole lot to talk about, to be honest. Typical Philly show. Heavy vintage, some modern stuff, crowded, no internet. And, I found a couple items to come away with. So I'll show you my Philly pickups as well as my recent mail. And not much exciting about this video to really reveal, guys. There was a lot of really good signers at the Philly show. I know that Dr. J was there for sure. And a lot of other big names. I can't rattle them all off the top of my head. I don't remember. But that could have also had a lot to do with why the crowd was really big. And I also ran into some supporters of the channel and got to have some really good conversation with them as well. A lot of times that's a highlight of my show, is being able to talk with someone that, be able to put a face to a name that I see from the YouTube channel. I actually was in the process of trying to do a deal for a Bart Starr Upper Deck game used auto, I think from 1999. It was around that year, one of the earlier ones. Vendor had it tagged at $500. I wanted to give him a Joe Namath card and $150, but we couldn't reach an agreement. He didn't want to value my Joe Namath jersey patch at the value that I wanted for it. And I had this whole entire conversation with a supporter of the channel, which was really cool. And they were getting to see, it go down and me try to negotiate and me fail at a negotiation, because most of the time more negotiations fall through than actually go through. But all you ever see on vlogs and on YouTube most of the time is the deals that are successful. Maybe 3 to 4 out of every 10 deals actually go through. And that can be the exhausting part about trying to negotiate at a show. And you never even see the deals that don't happen. You just see the deals that do happen. So, again, I find that pretty interesting. What's up, guys? Leaving the Philly show. Really crowded inside. Been in there for about 3 hours. Had to call it quits. Didn't take my case. Didn't do anything. Kind of wanted to browse around and have fun at this show. A little different approach than recently. And it actually wasn't a great time. I'm not going to say it wasn't a bad time. Anytime you got a show and cards are involved, it's fun and it's cool, but it was just so crowded and so crammed. I'm hungry. At least my boy Dan came out and moved the car up closer when he had some downtime. And I'm gonna see how many text messages and IG messages and everything that I missed while I was inside, because there's like zero service, which makes it tough for dealing, regardless if you know or don't know your comps, things like that. I'm gonna go home, round this out with a sit-down video, and go into more depth about the show and show you the things that I picked up. So enough blabbing about a not very exciting and not very eventful show. I'm just gonna go ahead and get into my recent pickups. We'll start off with the stuff that I got at the Philly show. One of the first items I picked up was a Cheryl Miller on-card auto. Again, a female basketball great, Reggie's sister. Pretty much everybody knows the name Cheryl Miller. This was tagged $30. I picked it up for, I believe I got it for $25. Just a cool card, on card. You don't see her stuff that much. Of course, I added a Larry Bird. I had sold so many Larry Birds in Atlanta that I wanted to pick up a couple more for the collection. So I got an impeccable on card patch. This one is numbered out of 25. There was another one numbered out of 10 from the exact same card, and it had a really chunky patch on it. It was like $100 more, but the autograph was streaked. So I went with this one. It was kind of a bummer because I would really have liked to have had the other card, but I didn't want the signature to be streaked. Now, one other card that I did pick up at the show was this 2012 Fleer Retro Precious Metal Gems of Drew Brees. This is a red BGS 85, numbered out of 100, which, you know, PMGs are popular. This is the college uniform, but these cards are pretty cool, look nice. Had no intentions of buying this, and sometimes this is what I talk about when you go to shows. You may not have any intentions of buying a certain card or be hunting for a certain card, and just something catches your attention at the right price, and you just walk away with it. And that's what happened with me. I just kind of was intrigued by it. I asked the seller, I said, how much for the Drew Brees? They give me a price that just sounded right. And I went ahead and I picked this up. And I'll be looking to flip this. You know, this will probably hit my slabs or something. The same with the Larry Bird. I buy and sell Larry Bird very frequently. I buy him, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. And then I will land a Larry Bird every now and then, which you'll guys see in another video. That is a PC piece for myself. The Cheryl Miller, again, is a PC item. I believe that was all from the Philly show pickups. Actually, I got some Ultra Modern basketball here. We'll get into the mail day, and then I'll wrap it up with the Ultra Modern basketball, because the Ultra Modern basketball stuff is just a couple things that I'm taking long shots on, throwing a couple darts at. If you guys are interested, hang out for that. Do have two more Magic Johnson autos that I picked up. This one came off eBay. This is a National Treasures, and I believe, yeah, it is a National Treasures, and it's numbered out of 49. And the thing is that if you look at this like this, guys, it looks great. And this is how it looked on eBay. But when I got it in the mail, I realized it was a sticker auto, and I was kind of bummed. Now, I got it at for a really good price, and now I realize why the price on this was lower than it seemed. Normally, I pay anywhere from $300 to $350 for a nice Magic Johnson auto, and this was listed for $200. And now I just realize it because it was a sticker auto. They just don't quite draw the premium. Nice card nonetheless. However, excuse me. However, I didn't realize it was a sticker until I got it home in the mail. So be careful when you're looking at your eBay pictures, because they can look convincing enough to where it looks like an on-card auto. This one, however, is an on-card auto, a flawless, numbered out of 25, Magic Johnson. Very super clean signature. Nice little picture. And just another cool card I put down. Again, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird stuff. Easy to sell. It's very liquid. I learned that setting up as a dealer in Atlanta. One more Larry Bird to show, and this one, maybe I'll move this one a little later and hang on to this one for a little while. Who knows? But this is an immaculate game-used patch, numbered out of 33. And as you can see, if I get some light on it from here, you got two colors here. It's a big chunky piece of what looks like his number. And it is game-used. It is numbered out of 33. Very clean auto on there. I don't tend to grade these types of cards. What I'll do is I'll just throw them in a nice Pro Mold or One Touch, whatever you use. And I'll just sell them like that. It's not difficult to move these types of cards raw, as opposed to if you're buying a base Prism or something and you need something to differentiate it from the rest so you get a slab on it. However, these types of cards, I can buy and sell and flip and profit off of buying raw at the right price and the right deal and finding the right buyer. So that's what I tend to do. Last but not least, 4 cards here. Just some young basketball players. The prices were so cheap on these. I'm not going to get into the price because I'm not trying to pump these players to say go out and buy these guys because they're a good deal or whatever. Because in some cases they're not good deals. Lots of cards of these guys are still overpriced. People are underwater on them and aren't necessarily looking to let them go. I picked these up because, in my opinion, they were dirt cheap and really can't get any lower. So I'm not going to give prices. Just going to show the cards and the players. It's not a, hey, I think these guys are going to take off type deal. It's just a, man, for the price, it's worth taking a risk. 2 of the cards are identical right here. This is a Kobe White Select Rookie Concourse red prism. And I like going with the red prism because not only it's a color match, it's numbered out of 199, and it's the true red. And I will tell you guys, when it comes to these parallels, even when the serial numbers are lower, for example, I had a Tyler Hero Disco Red, so it was a color match, but also had the fast break disco prism look to it as well. It was numbered out of 49. However, the red Tyler Hero that's like this, that's numbered out of 199, sells for more money, even though, you know, there's 3 times as many of them printed, 199 to 49. People just prefer the true red, whether you're buying Prism or Select or Optic. When you start getting into the hybrid parallels where you're crossing one parallel with another, I think it becomes too much for people. And they prefer the simplicity of just a nice looking card that's a color match that does have a serial number. And again, 2 Kobe Whites I picked up, taking a shot on him. Depending, you know, maybe he can do something in the playoffs for the Bulls. He hasn't played bad since coming back, and the price was great. And the last 2 of a player who hasn't played for most of the season. He's on a super hot team, the Cavaliers. Darius Garland stuff has gone nuts. So I've picked up a couple, excuse me, again, Colin Sexton cards. Again, for the right price. This is just a Mint 9 2018 Red Mosaic. Again, a color match. Not serial numbered, not super rare or anything. I grabbed this for $20, guys. No kidding. $20. I just feel like it wouldn't take much for this to be a $40 card. Now, do I think that's going to be a $150 to $200 card? Absolutely not. But I sold a PSA 9 red Trae Young for $300. So from the same year, same card, different player, Trae Young, I sold for $300. And I was able to grab this Colin Sexton for $20. Just seemed like a really, really good deal. And last but not least, one last Colin Sexton card. And this would be the Select Red Prism as well. Simply red, numbered out of 199. Just like the Kobe White. Exact same parallel. Concourse red, numbered out of 199. Just a different year of the Colin Sexton. So guys, that was my pickups. That was my cheap rundown of the Philly show. There just wasn't a whole lot to really... what word am I looking for? Talk about, to be honest. I was there for 3 hours, and the highlight was running into people and talking and being social. Found a couple cards, sold a few cards, but that wasn't even my agenda. I didn't even take my Pelican case with me because I just wanted to walk around and be able to browse, and it was so crowded that even without my case, I was uncomfortable moving around quite a bit. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Thanks for watching. Maybe I'll shoot some videos from Tampa, which is where I'll be next week. And until next time, good luck in your collecting, your investing. And guys, have a good one.